Welcome to Swing State University, a college golf and lifestyle podcast. I'm your host, James Boone, and joining us this week is the founder of Orange Grounds Golf and Coffee, Daniel Tjahjakartana. I've been seeing a trend on Instagram, and I'm not sure if this is just true of my Instagram algorithms. I'm not sure if this is true of living in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm not sure if this is a United States thing, but I keep getting fed these Instagram stories and reels that are like, basically it's a prompt saying in your early 30s or in your early 20s, you're going to have this sudden urge to do this certain thing. For me, a lot of it is open up a coffee shop, buy a La Marzocco espresso machine, or it's you're going to have this urge to start a golf brand or start this clothing line. The phrase kind of goes as you'll get this certain urge to do this thing. It's very important that you listen to that urge. Whenever I get those, reels pumped into my face, I started kind of thinking about some things. I was like, well, if I were to actually do this and follow this urge in 2026, it would look like starting something in the coffee realm, worked at a coffee shop, drink coffee every single day and love exploring different cafes and coffee shops. If I came into a bunch of money, that's an avenue that I would want to explore. And then also golf, like obviously the impetus behind this whole podcast at all is because I have some ties and played. So I was like, are there any cafes that specialize in golf and in coffee, then blended the two? I didn't find anything stateside. So if you're listening to this and you have a coffee shop slash curated golf wear and goods shop that you go to and explore, like let me know, hit me up. But my journeys took me to Hawthorne, Australia. One, I found Johnny's Golf Shop, who opened up 3 years ago. Had a really cool run in Hawthorne, Australia, where he was dishing out, espresso. He had like this big golf simulator monitor and did an incredible job. Had like a 2-year run of growing a following, having people come to his shop. It was incredible. And then second shop I found, so that was the first one in Australia, Johnny's Golf Shop. But the second shop was really fascinating as well. And so if you think about having this sudden urge to do something, back in 2025, this shop and presently our guest today followed that urge. My friend Daniel joins us today, and he not only followed that vision in 2025, but just this past month opened up his shop, Orange Grounds, in Jakarta, Indonesia. And we have him on the show today at Swing State University. And so, Daniel, I just want to thank you for hopping on and joining the show today. So thank you.
Thank you, James.
Absolutely. I believe it's around 7:30 here in Memphis, Tennessee. Daniel kindly joined us at the start of his day, so around 8:30, 9 a.m. Obviously, the shop's been open for a little bit. As we get started, like Daniel, following your journey, following everything that you've posted with Orange Grounds in the last month, I want to congratulate you, one, on starting, but would also love to hear a little bit about your journey, what the last year has looked like getting Orange Grounds up off the ground.
Yeah, so thanks for reaching out, James. I'll tell you what happened last year. Your intro is actually it's quite funny because it is like that, isn't it? Like all those things. Start a golf brand, start a coffee shop, and actually I'm doing it all in one now in Orange Grounds. So the story is actually I've been running a rice bowl shop called Don Buricia for the past 10, 11 years. So the story is I need to move out from my previous place, which is a shopping mall. So I'm just looking for a place to get into, and then I got a place nearby, which suits my budget. But the space is slightly too big, and I've been looking at, as you mentioned, Johnny's also in Melbourne. So I got also inspired and thought, why not combine the concept together? Since I also have a small coffee shop nearby too, so I thought it's actually natural for me to open up one. So for me, I have the knowledge, I have the experience opening it. The thing that is new for me is the golf part because I had just started playing golf in 2022. So the golf part is the big question mark for me on what kind of concept should I open. The process itself is quite straightforward for me. It wasn't anything extraordinary because I've been doing it. But the golf part, I talked to some friends, which end up being Minima Golf, which they are a secondhand golf online retailer, and I asked him if he is interested on having an offline shop. So he said yes, and he's now the reason why we have lots of interesting golf clubs in the shop. And the other part is also the simulator part, which again, at first I was thinking of renting it out or, so the bay can generate some revenue. But again, inspired by Johnny's and some other places, I think it is a community driven place. So I wanted to be free. The simulator now is free. free to use for everyone. And I hope that will really build the community around.
You talk about your expertise in F&B and food and beverage, opening up different stores, rice bowl shops. You also had a cafe, coffee shop earlier. How did you get into that in the first place? I'm curious of your early origins. How'd you get into that world in the first place?
That's actually quite a long time ago. So was what 11, 12 years ago. I started with a franchise of a Malaysian style coffee shop called Old Time Bar Coffee. That was just a learning thing. So I started it up with my friend, taking some franchise, learning from them. I actually went to university in Sydney, Australia.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a rice bowl shop there, which I like to eat like almost every day. I was working back then in a company, and then I was thinking maybe I can open some kind of a business because at that time I feel like I just need to have a income of my own. I'm just thinking, young thinking, which I thought everything was easy. So I contacted the Sydney rice bowl place and asked them if they want to open their shop here in Jakarta, but they said no. Basically, they said no. So I don't know why I had the courage to do it, but I end up developing my own menu with a chef and also making my own brand and everything. And we opened our first shop 12 years ago. And here we call it Lipomal Puri. It's one of the first shops there in 2014. So Don Buricha opened up there. So basically, that's where I started in F&B. And how come I have the coffee shop? Before opening up, I was into coffee. I made my own coffee at home with manual brews and manual espresso machines, nothing fancy. But so from there, I opened a coffee shop, and now I combine basically everything in Orange Grounds from golf, ice bowl, and the cafe.
Yeah, that's so cool. You talked about conquering some fear. You talked about having that moment of, hey, I want to bring this to Indonesia. I want to open up a rice bowl shop like what I saw in Sydney. So you've already exercised that muscle of opening your own shop, of opening your own business, creating a brand, creating a following. That's something that you've been doing for 12 years. So whenever the idea of Orange Grounds came to mind, it made it a little bit easier to say, I've already done this. I've seen this model work out before. Now you're just adding the golf component. What I'm curious with that is, how'd you get into golf? I know there was kind of a big boom after COVID of people, wanting to get into golf and try it. Did you have friends that were playing and trying to get you to play? What did that look like for you?
I don't remember my friends pushing me that much into golf. I actually played golf for a bit when I was in primary school, but that was just like several months. And then I got injured. I have a mark here, which is I got hit by a wedge by my brother, and I passed out there. And then I think that's when I stopped playing golf. So I had the experience of playing golf when I was little. But recently, after COVID, around 2022, a couple of my friends, not a lot, but a couple of my friends are starting golf. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the COVID, it's the pandemic. Like I tend to have some random impulses. So they're not asking me that often, or I don't remember them asking. Just I remember after they were playing for 6 months, I remember just saying like, "Hey man, let's go to the range and like accompany me hit some balls." And then basically from there, it started just from there. And I don't know, I got the bug from there
Opening the business, how much time do you have to play?
because it's my own business. I feel I have some of the freedom of time also, and I'm lucky to have my team already helping running the shop, so I can actually spend time exploring new stuff like golf. I usually play once a week at the course, but now I'm
Well,
hitting some balls at the simulator
yeah.
only.
Well, I was gonna say, I was like, I guess that's the whole point of combining the two, so that you don't have to separate, work and play. You can just enjoy the simulator.
I didn't think about it like that at start, but actually it is something like that at the moment, yes. So I can say like I'm at work, but I can hit a bit of ball, yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. What was the official date of your opening?
So official date. So we actually had our what we call our grand opening at the 6th of December, but we have been soft opening a month before. So to get the hang of things for the staff to also get the hang of things and to fix the mistakes. So it's good at opening. So it's the 6th of December.
Soft opening 2 months ago, hard opening 1 month ago, December 6th. What were some challenges to getting to that initial launch date of December 6th?
Even before opening, I struggle in getting the concept mixed in my head. So I'm not sure where should I market it first. Should it be from the rice bowl or from the cafe or from the golf first? So I've actually struggled there at first, but in the end, the rice bowl settled in itself because it has its own market, and the coffee, same thing. But the golf part, I don't know where to start. So I end up asking a friend, Jess V. She also do the branding on the inside. She's actually a golfer and also a creative director previously on IFNB. So I asked her, and she has some connections, some influencer friends. So she arranged a grand opening event, inviting some of her friends to come in and actually help experience the shop. I was worried that the shop will be empty because I don't have my own stuff inside. So I contacted my friend Minima Golf to put in some gears. And then here I find some distributors also. And we got some public grip and quiet golf at the moment for the apparels inside. That was the thing I wasn't sure of.
It looked like Jess did an incredible job. The idea of that passport on y'all's opening day of, hey, this is a tour of Orange Grounds, that little passport pamphlet
Oh, you saw
that I
it. Yeah.
saw,
That's all Jess. That's all Jess.
I was like, that is genius. And then also it being a collaborative effort of people that you had to reach out to. It's like, hey, if I'm not super in the know about, what merchandise I should stock, my shop with, having to reach out and having those connections is pretty cool. I think what you touched on was, and I keep going back to this, but it has to be helpful to know that there's a market already for the rice bowl side. There's a market already for the coffee side. And so whatever comes of the golf side, like you said, it's just another kind of avenue to introduce people to the game. Now, whether or not like that's actually sustaining your business, it sounds like there's a baseline understanding of what already works. And then I can add golf in kind of on top of that. I remember going back and looking at the way Johnny started his account and then his brand and his coffee shop. It sounded like he approached it of, I like coffee. I just got into golf. Let me just do this thing. Let me rent out this space and try to figure it out. And it worked out for him. So like he has
Yeah.
8 to 10,000 followers, and then he was able to pivot, and now he's golf exclusively. But it sounds like for you coming at it from a little different light of like, I'm not just going to throw paint at a wall and try to figure it out. There's kind of, there's a baseline thing that's sustaining your business, which I think is really cool.
Or maybe you're right because it's really cool what Johnny did. It feels like he just went in and does his thing, right? But with me, I feel I have a baseline. I hope it synergize well. The golf will help the food part, and the food and coffee will also introduce people to golf. Yeah, and also with the big risk here is actually, from what I know, golf here is not what people say. We're not a golfing country, Indonesia. So that was also a big risk, and how golf was perceived in a more casual way. I feel it's also new here, so I really feel I might actually get people into golf because I feel like the previous generation of golfers here in Indonesia has different mindset of golf. So I might not be attracting them to actually get into the shop just because of golf.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by their understanding of the game of golf of the other generation?
I feel there's a movement, like a cultural lifestyle movement outside of Indonesia. Maybe it's more Australia. They're always laid back, and
Yeah.
the U.S. There's more of the like the street culture of golf lifestyle, and here it is not like that. It is perceived as an expensive sport. It is perceived negatively. Also, there's partly gambling, and also there's lots of negatives inside it. Some people don't want to try golf because they thought it's boring. It's an old man sport. Yeah, and especially it's expensive and time consuming. The general public has that kind of mindset, while the older golfers are might actually get into the real stereotypes. They need to have some sort of good income to play here in Indonesia because there's no real public courses. There's maybe one, but I think they just got bought
Wow.
by a private also. So golf is not as accessible here. That's the point. Everything's expensive. And like what I have inside, the apparels and everything, you cannot get it for cheap. And if you get brands from outside of the country, actually it is way more expensive than what we usually buy locally too. So yeah, it is definitely not for everyone yet here in Indonesia.
Of thinking about public perception of a golfer, someone who goes out and play. Obviously, it's super expensive, and if minimum wage is was whatever, then it's out of the question at all. But then there's also the public perception of it's tied to gambling, it's tied to these lifestyle habits that aren't celebrated culturally, and so you have those two or three barriers that are against that. But I think that's what makes your shop so interesting and cool, and why the decision to
And
not charge for the hitting bay, why that's so important in a way to serve your community as well, which I applaud you in that. That's really cool.
yeah, that's exactly part of the reason why I started it also. I just feel like people need to see golf from a different perspective. There's some satisfaction in playing golf, and there are lots of aspects of it from the strategy and from the gears and from the how your body swings that I just love those kind of things. I just hope like some people get the bug too just by hitting at least for the past 2 months. It has been their first what you call it touching point. Time
Yeah,
they
touch
actually
point.
yeah, they get exposed to golf. Some people, it's the first time holding a golf club, and they wouldn't even consider playing it if it's not here. And there are lots of kids also starting to touch it here. Yeah, that's it's quite. There is some of satisfaction also seeing that.
That's so sweet. I saw the post. It might have been on opening day or maybe on one of your first couple days, but a group of kids hanging out on the putting green inside y'all's shop. And I was like, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's actually what happened because we around the shop there's actually two preschools and one primary school. So yeah, so after school usually we can expect at 3 p.m. kids play golf their own way here. But yeah,
It's their first touch point. It's exposure to the game. Your crowd that came to your cafe, the rice bowl shop, and then the other cafe, are they a little confused when they walk into your cafe now and then see that hitting bay? Are they like, what is going on here?
yeah. Definitely, like I can see their faces. Like there's a golf here, but some are curious. And when I'm around, I always say, hey guys, you can actually take any club. Everything's here. Almost everything is free to hit. Like you can just take any club, even those that are for sale. You are allowed to hit. Some of them said yes. Some of them are like maybe not. But yeah, there are some different reactions to it.
Your time in Sydney, Australia, you're at university, but you got introduced to the food scene. You got introduced to cultivating menus, working in restaurant. Was that what you went to Australia for originally? Was that what you went to study?
No. I studied in Adelaide for a bit, but I didn't finish it. I studied aquaculture, moved to Sydney, and I finished my degree in business. So it wasn't for that. Why I was eating, I don't know. I eat this rice bowl usually at exam week. Exam week, I eat the rice bowl every day. Maybe it's easy, so I didn't go there to pursue any F&B career. So I was there for school, I think.
You were there for school and then you needed to eat. And so your food of choice was the rice bowl. Why'd you pursue agriculture in the first place?
Aquaculture,
Aquaculture.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The aquaculture, because my father is a bit into the aquarium business. Yeah, he used to be in the aquarium business, and I was exposed to ornamental fishes when I was little. I just thought, and I like studying biology at that moment. Yeah, it's a bit odd, but it's actually a very good choice if I actually finished it because Indonesia has a very big aquaculture industry. It's actually really good for our business. But yeah, I'm no longer there.
At what point did you move back from Sydney back to Indonesia?
I finished my master's degree also in business and marketing, and I went back home and I worked first in a company. But whilst then, I don't know why I was always making business plans and stuff. And now I'm actually lucky, of course. Like in order for me to go school abroad and everything, it's my family can support me in terms of the financials, and they allow me to go out of the country. So I was well supported. But that's also why I can pursue a lot of things.
What were some takeaways from your time in Sydney?
Obviously people live differently there. I mean, it's really different and people interact differently. The shops open at different times and people there are more laid back and I got also a bit of the Australian laid backness, something I appreciate actually. And I know there are some cities in Indonesia, there are blue skies, but Jakarta is just too dense. You don't really see blue skies anymore. The difference is, I think it affects a lot in the way I open my shops too. So the city integrates with nature more seamlessly in Sydney, I feel, and maybe in a lot of other countries, maybe in the States. My brother studied in Vancouver. It's also like that. It integrates into nature seamlessly, and public transport is more accessible. Of course, food, like I'm able to taste lots of different types of food because Sydney is quite multicultural. And also the feel of the vibes of the coffee shops there. It's chill, laid back, and they're very specific about it.
Yeah.
They are strong coffee, not very watery. They have their own type of coffee. Coffee, food, culture, yeah. But unfortunately not golf. I just realized I should have played golf there. There's lots of really, really good courses.
You talk about your brother hitting you in the mouth with a wedge whenever you guys were little. Does he still play? Does he still play
No,
golf?
no, no. He doesn't touch the golf club. Well, yeah, he doesn't play golf. He doesn't play golf. He was sorry for it, but then I think it's been
Yeah.
too long. But it's fine
Yeah.
now. It's fine. It's like a trademark of mine now. Actually, my family, none of them played golf anymore. My father used to play with. But yeah, they now after that incident, I don't know, is it because of that incident or just time? But yeah, basically we all stopped playing golf.
Yeah, it's hard. It's harder. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It does get just harder and harder to get out there and play, but it's cool that you've been able to have the opportunity now with your shop and your interest in 2022 to be able to play a little bit more. Just so cool. We talked about Johnny's Golf Shop. Is there anyone else out on the socials that, whether it's in the food industry or in the golf industry, that have stuck out to you that are like, man, I really appreciate the work that they're doing?
In general, I think I'm just exposed to the new brands also. I think the new movements from everything, I guess, from social media, brands like Melbourne and Manners, those really cool brands, which I hope I can work with or get their products into my shop. I follow Matchstick Golf. They have a really cool space also. Was some of the things there, I made it into an inspiration in my place too.
Like golfing provisions, golfing goods stores, like those continue to pop up stateside, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen the combination of the two. And so whenever I see a brand like that, like you were talking about, I'm like, can you guys just throw an espresso machine in there and start slinging some coffee? Because it seems
I
like
mean,
it'd be pretty seamless.
yeah, and I think it is possible. Yeah, I'm not sure with the coffee culture in the States. I think that, oh, I need to mention Gumtree, of course, they're really cool. And I've seen a coffee machine inside their studio or something, but yeah, I think it's way possible. I'm not sure why there hasn't been more golf and coffee. And
At what point did you start playing around with tasting different coffee flavors, the difference of the bean that you guys use? At what point did you get enlightened to deeper coffee, not just sugar drinks?
around 2015, I guess I started experimenting myself with coffee at home, testing different beans. But now at the shop, we have our own curated beans with a good friend of mine, Andri from Beans Corp. Shout out to them. He's an idealist. He roasts his coffee a certain way. So at first, when I opened my first coffee shop, at that moment, there's a trend here in Indonesia where you drink coffee with palm sugar. The coffee here tends to be dark and you drink it with aren sugar. That is the more common one. But if you're looking for a specialty shop, we're lucky that we have several local good beans. My friend Andre can curate the taste profile according to what we want to achieve. Yeah, we have two main beans here: one seasonal, one our staple. Which the staple one is the one we mix with the aren sugar. It's dark, but the notes goes well with the aren sugar. And the other one is the specialty, which is a medium roast. Medium roast, it's a mix of local and it's a seasonal blend. So usually that one we don't drink it with sugar. Andre does a good job getting the notes.
I see his account right now, Beans Corp Coffee.
He has an interesting shop. He has his own shop. Is crazy. Like at COVID, he was just roasting in his shop. He's not trying to sell it to people outside. He don't even have a signage at the front. But somehow one guy from social media went in and said, "Oh, this is a secret coffee shop where it's super specialty. It's like insanely specific, and it got big. People know."
Yeah. But it is incredible how small social media has made the world.
You're right. That's incredible. Like you reached me out and we can now talk
Totally.
here
Totally.
from the other part of the world. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Welcome back to the Swing State Six Pack with Daniel Tjahjakartana, Orange Grounds Coffee in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Let's go.
First question, we talked a little bit about courses that you play in Indonesia. What's your favorite course that you've ever played?
The Sedayu golf course, the only link style-ish golf course around here.
With that, we talk about this is a course that I enjoy playing with. I play with my buds. Second question, what's a course maybe in Indonesia or outside the country that you would love to play? Favorite course that you've never played?
Favorite course that I've never played. I think anywhere outside of the country will be good. But yeah, definitely. Of course, everyone would say like Augusta, somewhere there. But I'd like to explore somewhere in the UK, Ireland, Scotland, somewhere there. I like it. It feels and the vibe is nice. And maybe Japan. The States, of course, too many good ones there where you're
Yeah.
at.
Yeah. It would be so much fun to connect, whether me in Indonesia or you come stateside. It would be awesome.
I think it's better for me to go there. I would like
Okay.
to all the courses there.
Okay. That's perfect. That's perfect.
But of course, if you come around here, let me know.
Okay, for sure. Third question of the Swing State Six Pack. Daniel, what's your favorite way to drink coffee?
At the moment, I like just latte and with a nice beans, just good beans and milk. I think that's that for now.
How's your latte art?
No, latte are not that good. I try. It doesn't work out all the time, but yeah, try to make it hard. Sometimes it looks like a heart, sometimes it looks like something else.
Okay, so if you were to go out and play with your friends, let's say down the street in Jakarta, who's your dream foursome? Someone that you'd want to go play a round of golf with. Dream foursome.
Min Woolley, Adam Scott, Tiger, Rory. I think, oh, that's too much. That's five sims. But yeah,
They'd allow it.
they allow it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally amazing.
All right. I kind of have a feeling that I know what this one is right now, but favorite golf brand right now?
Favorite golf brand? Orange Grounds, of course.
Of course. Yeah, of course. I think it's really cool what Minima is doing inside y'all's shop of it being a resale brand, but also it seems high end. Like it seems like they do a really
You're
good
right.
job.
They curate their products. They don't take random clubs.
Yeah,
They curate their clubs.
they're pretty selective with it. Question number 6. All right, so hey, to close out the Swing State 6-pack, what are some things that you're excited about for Orange Grounds in 2026?
Yeah, heading into the new year, I hope we can get more people in the shop, especially to try golf. And we're planning to get more into the routine events. So like golf and coffee mornings, and some of the people here, locals here, in the West Jakarta, we eat bakmi sometimes. Bakmi is noodles in the morning. So I hope like we are selling bakmi too in the shop. So we hope to get a bakmi morning thing going on. Some golf clinics. The menus here are getting complete. So get all the things that needs to be done, events, food.
Absolutely. That space is really unique. I haven't seen anything like it stateside. I could see it being used as a multi-purpose space. Like you renting it out for an event, you renting it out for lessons, events and receptions and different things like that. I could totally see that.
Yes, that's exactly what we're hoping we can do.
You did an incredible job at the shop. Congratulations on opening up a month ago. This is literally your month anniversary. So congrats on being open for a month. I appreciate you hopping on. And I know a lot of our listeners will be blessed being able to hear a little bit about your story and then connecting with your brand. So thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you, James. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.